I am Luke Avdalovich. I'm a former Division I walk-on, and you can listen to my experiences at the Walk-On Podcast. Going into my senior year, I actually broke my left arm. I had a couple of Division II and NAI looks, but when that happened, it was looking like I had to have surgery if I even wanted to play basketball again, and basically everyone that I was talking to kind of fell off. Just weren't sure if I was going to make it back on the court the way I was, and it was kind of all up in the air. So I was going into my senior year, a lot of unknowns. My trainer, who I've been with since 6th grade, and he was like, yeah, we got this kid Luke, he's from Folsom, if you can give him a look, he's one of those kids that will do whatever it takes. And so they came to my first round playoff game when they were playing Sac State, so timing worked out really well. And they came for the first half, and I hit a couple jump shots, had a couple good plays, and they're like, look, he's good enough to walk on. That's all we needed to see. And so I went to NAU, and that was it's definitely a big step, but I'm glad I took it, and I don't think my life would have shaped out the way it did if I didn't. So the podcast was honestly kind of the birth child of an assignment I had my freshman year at NAU in a writing class, where it started with an essay, and then we had to take a portion of that essay and turn it into a different form of media. It was about destiny, and if people have a destiny, or if why people believe they have destiny or not. And I talked about being a walk-on, and I said, in the essay, along these steps was it felt like I was on the right path for what I was supposed to do, and I don't know if that means I have a destiny or whatever, but it felt like I was in the right place. Then I took that portion of the essay and I turned that into a podcast segment. But that was where I got to test it out for the first time, and I interviewed my roommate, who was also a walk-on with me, and I was like, this is pretty fun. I enjoyed the process. I got to hear his story more in depth, and this was my roommate. I lived 8 feet away from him, and I got to learn about him. So I take a lot of pride that I was a walk-on. I think there's a stigma behind being a walk-on and knowing so many stories like that people are proud of coming from that background. There's a platform for them to share it on. And so that was kind of where the other two co-hosts, like I said, one is my trainer. His name is Jared Waters. I've known him since 6th grade. And then the third co-host is, he's basically like my little brother. He's one of my little brother's closest friends, but his name is Tommy Ball. He walked on at Idaho State, and he trained with Jared as well, and then he got the walk-on spot at Idaho State, and me and him got really close because they were in the same conference as NAU. And so I came to Tommy first, and I said, this is what I want to do. I think you would be a perfect co-host. You have great energy, fun to listen to, fun to be around. And I was like, we need Jared. He's the reason why we're all in this position. I think us three would be able to tell stories and have a good dynamic. And kind of sat in front of our computers, in front of a Zoom call, and we talk. We like our guests on. We are on episode 80 right now, and we've missed 1 week since we started, and everything goes really well. I've had people on there that I've known my whole life, and they sit in front of the camera and talk for 30 to 45 minutes, and I learned 10, 15 new things about them, and I've known them like they're some of my closest friends. And so it's a cool experience to have in that sense, and it's also allowed us to meet a lot of new people and network. And we kind of define a walk-on as someone who's a star in their role but doesn't get the credit they deserve. And we talk about doing whatever it takes, being the last one in the gym, just having a passion for whatever it is. And so we've had guests that are sport people and non-sport people, because we think you can be a walk-on in any way of life. And if you kind of buy into that, where it's not about the monetary or extrinsic value, it's more about your passion for it and your drive to continue to be better.